Hi, this is Sin. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a billion-dollar city in SimCity. As you can see from this video, I have 1,176,973,444 money in my treasury, and my population, for the most part, they're pretty happy. I have about 172,000 population. I've seen this peak all the way up to 210. It just depends on what my city is doing, whether there's a spaceship being launched or not, whether I have enough people to even launch a spaceship. So let's talk about how and why you would want to have a city that has $1 billion in its treasury. Well, the how is easy. The why, it's really up to you. I just wanted to do it to see if I can do it. So really, it was just for the challenge and fun of it. The how is fairly simple. If you can make $1 million or million simoleons, whatever the actual currency is in SimCity, you can make $1 billion. The secret is to maintaining a positive income or having a profit every month. So you can see here, even though I'm spending $36,000 every hour, I'm bringing in anywhere from $3 to $5 million every month. It just depends on what the city is doing at the time. As you can see, I've also set my taxes to be moderately okay. It's 10% across the board. At some point in time, I had 11% for the low and medium groups of people. I always maintain 10% tax for the higher end people because I want to encourage them to come into my city. One of the things you'll want to do right away as soon as you can is build a university or a community college. That way your population will be educated enough. You're going to need at least, I think, 2 of these green icons here and at least 1 of these tech levels, so that at least your population will be educated enough to want to recycle. Because once your population is recycling, you have raw materials you can use, such as plastic and alloy, to create processors or CPUs. So what you do is you build a processor factory and you start selling it. So in the beginning, you might start off with 1 recycling center and 1 processor factory. You then build a trade depot. Preferably you want to build these things close to each other. So you can see there's my recycling center, there's my factory right here, and there's my trade depot right next to each other. So what it is you basically sell the processor to make money. So once you're able to do that, have a positive workflow, it really just becomes a snowball effect. You just want to build more processor factories so you can build more processors. So you can see I have, let's see, I have a processor a second one right there, and a third one right there. And I believe I have a 4th one right here. Yep. So if you can make $1 million, you definitely can make $1 billion. All that it needs is time, really just time, and just really keeping an eye out on your population, making sure they stay educated, and that Godzilla is not wreaking havoc in your city. Sometimes, of course, Godzilla, being a natural disaster, will come into your city and just wreak havoc. So one of the things you want to do is kind of decentralize or spread across your money-making engine, if you will. So in here, at some point in time, you'll be able to build a trade depot. The trade depots are much more efficient than your normal trade depot. This particular trade depot has a train component in it. So when I buy and sell goods, it's doing it via the train. So you're saying, well, what's the difference between a train and just using trucks? Well, the problem with trucks is they get stuck in traffic. So the more traffic, or the more highly dense your city is, the more traffic you'll have, and the slower your factories and your trade depots will function. Whereas if you have a train add-on, that will function independently of your traffic. So you can buy and sell goods much faster, really in a much more predictable way. Not to mention, this particular trade depot or trade port can carry a lot more, 100 tons, 10,000 crates, if you can see there, compared to a normal trade depot which can only carry 2,000 crates or 40 tons, for example. So again, you want to build that as soon as you can. Obviously, you'll have to upgrade your trading HQ buildings. You can see I've actually built all of them. It's fully upgraded. There's 4 buildings. And you'll also want to upgrade your electronics HQ buildings. There's 3 of them, and as you can see, mine's fully upgraded. So before you can build some of the more advanced, structures that you'll use for trading, you're going to want to upgrade these buildings. And then at a later point in time, you want to build a consumer electronic factory so you can sell TVs and computers. Now, for some reason, TVs sells for a whole lot more than computers, which is kind of interesting, since you can buy cheap TVs in real life and you can pay more for computers in real life. But I guess it depends on whether you're buying a cheap computer or an expensive computer. So you run this game long enough, and ultimately you'll have a $1 billion city. As you can see here, I'm making $4 million every month right now. Again, that fluctuates. Once you figure out you've got unlimited water, electricity is fairly easy to get. In this particular city, I did not even bother building a nuclear power plant. I just used an oil power plant. And this city has been running for, let's see how many years, 42 years. So in about 35 years is when I reached $1 billion, and then after that I've just sort of been messing around with my city, not really focusing on making money at that point anymore, because once you've reached $1 billion, what's the point, right? Well, what's the point? Well, once you have $1 billion on your treasury, you can start a new city and build your utopia, which I haven't done yet. In my case, I'm just having fun. Let's see what else. So for my particular city, I only have 1 hospital right there, not even fully beefed up. I have 1 precinct right there, again, not even really fully beefed up. And I have 1 fire station, a large one. Again, that's not fully beefed up either. So you don't have to go all crazy with building so many, fire stations and police stations and hospitals. Just build the large ones and just build 1 of them for your entire city. At least in my city, that's what I did. As for mass transit, I really only ever built a shuttle depot. So I'm kind of cheap that way. Sure, I have all the money in the world to build whatever mass transit system I want to, but really that's all I need for my little city here. I built this little expo center just for fun. Not that it really makes that much money in my case, because I'm not focused on tourism. My main focus is in electronics and factories. And really, by playing SimCity for about a month now, I've really come to realize that the best way to make a lot of money is to focus on factories and electronics, because the raw materials and resources you need, they don't run out. It's not like when you're trying to specialize in drilling and coal mining and things like that. Those resources that's on your map will eventually run out. Whereas with electronics, TVs and computers and processors, all the components you need can technically be is available from your recycling center. So if you build a recycling center, you essentially have an unlimited amount of raw materials for which to run your factory. Now, of course, as you become more sophisticated, you're going to want to import them. So if you look at my trade depot here, for example, not that particular one, this massive one here, you can see I'm importing plastic and I'm importing alloy. And that's because plastic and alloys are relatively cheaper. You can see how much I'm importing there compared to how much money I'm making from selling processors and TVs. So essentially, I'm buying plastic and alloy just so I can, turn around and make a profit by selling those, by processing those raw materials and turning them into processors and TVs. And really, that's about it. I didn't really bother building too many parks. I think I only built 1 right there. Might be another one right here somewhere. Maybe not. Okay. Yeah, so for this entire city, I only built 1 park. I do have a high school right there, for a middle school right here, and a university right there. So I didn't go too crazy building multiple middle schools and high schools and things like that. As for my garbage here, I basically just built my garbage place with 2 incinerators. So basically the landfill never gets filled up. And when your population is highly educated, you can recycle, so you don't produce as much garbage, and you just incinerate them. So that produces air pollution, but at least you don't have to keep building landfills, which will just always fill up anyway. Anyway, this is Sin, and I just wanted to show you how you can earn or make $1 billion in SimCity 5 or SimCity 2013.